OCs. So drippy. So epic. His name is Epicy. And if you ruin this OC, I will murder you. I'm just kidding. But just don't ruin this OC. I worked very hard on this. Definitely hard on this. Yeah, and I'll make a other OC because he needs a friend. If I make a friend, oh, this fan is gonna be nice. All right, you guys can wait. Let me just see this real quick.
There's an armed intruder on campus. They say to lock the classroom doors, turn the lights off, and hide under the desk.
Don't worry, guys. I'm watching. What's this guy name? I'm watching Tyler something. I don't know. It's just his last name is a V.
This just might be real because a couple years ago during school, this is a real experience I went through. It started like any other day where I'm in math class unsuccessfully flirting with a girl I like. But there's something that had never happened before occurred. An announcement was made over the intercom. And obviously, announcements go off all the time. That's not unusual. But this one was different because normally when they're speaking over the intercom, they're just saying random things that no one can understand or cares about. They'll be like, "To the person who threw human feces on the wall in the bathroom, please come to the office." And the tone they say it in always makes it sound like they haven't experienced joy in their life since McDonald's got rid of the dollar menu. So imagine how odd it was during the announcement when the person speaking was whispering. I'll give you a reenactment of exactly what they said. Attention, this is not a drill. There's an armed intruder on campus. The school is going into lockdown. Teachers, lock your doors, turn your lights off, and tell everyone to get under their desk. Immediately when this announcement went off, I'm looking around to make sure the kid that wore black Air Forces to school every day was there because I did not trust him. Because anyone who wears those shoes to school every day terrifies me. But he was there, so I knew it wasn't him. The weird thing, though, is that you may think this ominous sounding announcement would be enough to make all of us students panic, or to at least understand that the situation was not a joke. But apparently not, because our class was still messing around. The whispering part definitely seemed a little weird, but still, we were hiding under the desks, but everyone was making jokes. No one thought it was real because we would do these drills all the time during school, and they would never tell you whether it was fake or an actual serious situation. So all the students just assumed it wasn't because we did this like every week, and I was one of the people not taking it seriously. I may be the only person to get my phone taken away during an actual school lockdown because I was playing Clash of Clans. I'm not even kidding. I opened the app while we were under our desks in lockdown, and that damn ringtone from the game went off. So the teacher heard it and ran over to my desk and took my phone away. That was probably a dumb thing to do looking back on it now. But anyways, the point is, no one thought it was real, so we weren't scared. But there was a specific moment where that all changed because a very loud sound went off. The sound went bang, and I went to that school for 3 years up to that point. But not once in my life being there did I hear a sound that loud. So I knew it couldn't just be a door slamming or banging on a desk, because this was many decibels higher than any of those sounds ever could have made. Everyone in my class heard it, and we all kind of collectively agreed that it was the same thing. A gunshot. So now, there ain't any more laughing. All of a sudden, I'm not so upset that I can't defend my base on Clash of Clans because this felt serious. I'm not exaggerating when I say that there were people in the class that started to cry. Which, by the way, if we're in a scenario that's already stressful, please don't make it worse by saying all the things that you don't want to happen. Like a girl that was next to me while all this was going on was absolutely crashing out, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, we're not gonna make it, are we? Are we? I can't do this. I can't do this. What if we get hurt? What if we get hurt? I'm so scared. What if this person finds us? What if they're dangerous? I'm so scared." Like, girl, you don't think we're all freaking out on the inside? Stop making it worse. We're about to give you the fire extinguisher and ship you off to go fight whoever this mystery intruder is. Sorry, that was too far. I know, I get kind of mean when I'm stressed, but moving forward, I think when the teacher heard this loud bang, they realized that this probably wasn't a drill either. Because when we first went into lockdown, he was just sitting at his desk not doing anything. Probably playing Clash of Clans on my phone, to be honest. But after he heard that bang, he went over to the front door and stood by it holding his big Stanley water bottle as if he was going to use that as a weapon to protect us. And I have to say, I really appreciate the effort to protect the class, but respectfully, if this is a serious threat and our 135-pound math teacher with his Stanley water bottle is our best defense, we might as well give up now. That's like a toddler trying to find a sumo wrestler. So everyone in class is super on edge, freaking out, waiting to see what's going to happen next, including me. But the one thing that I couldn't stop thinking about during this moment was the thought that every single man has ever had. And to all the ladies who aren't going to be able to relate to this, I don't know if you know this about guys, but every single one of us has gone through this exact scenario in our head of there being a school shooter and us saving the school. Usually how it plays out in our head is we're fighting the intruder and everyone is escaping the school, and then after it's all over, were the hero. And I always thought that if I was actually in this scenario, that's how I would react. I'd be fighting them off and be the hero who saved the school. But this ain't a Marvel movie. So when I got the chance to actually be in this situation, did I do that? Not even close. The moment I heard that loud bang, I tucked into a ball under that desk. I was the least brave one there. I made sure the girl that was freaking out was in front of me just in case the intruder came in. I can't lie, okay? I'm all bark, no bite. So if you ever see me trash talking on the internet or acting super tough, just know that I am lying, okay? I am not actually about that. So the whole class is sitting under the desks after this loud bang went off for about 10 minutes with no updates, just waiting for something to happen. But then it somehow got even more tense because our classroom had a window facing the school parking lot. And after these 10 minutes, the police showed up. Now we knew for sure that something was going on, but it was in this moment that I thought of a genius plan. We're right next to the parking lot. Why don't we just break the window and leave? I know what you guys are all thinking. Tyler, why did you not go to Harvard with how smart you are? Well, apparently the teacher didn't think that way because I went up to him to say, hey, if the situation gets really bad or the intruder comes inside here, how about we break through the window? But when I said that, he looked at me as if I just told him that the earth was flat. To paraphrase what he said to me, he basically told me, no, stupid, that's a horrible idea. Go back under your desk. So I did, but I still kept it in the back of my mind that if things went south, forget everyone else. I'm running through that window like Ray Lewis. So when the cops got there, we could see them get out of the car, but most of them just stood there in the parking lot. They weren't running onto campus to get whoever this intruder was. So that made us more confused on what was actually going on. But then, in quite possibly the scariest single moment of my life, I hear someone try to unlock the door. I've never felt my heart drop more than exactly when that happened. And when I tell you that window was looking real nice to run through at that moment, I ain't lying. But the door was locked, so whoever tried getting in couldn't. And they only tried opening the door once. So after this,
Yeah, you guys are probably like, bro, just use the bucket. No, that's boring. Just in the bucket. So boring. Who uses the bucket nowadays? It's 2025, bro.
Where this intruder is, what that loud bang sound was, or why the cops aren't moving. We're all just terrified, and we can't do anything about it. But then another announcement was made over the intercom, and it wasn't very encouraging. The person speaking said, attention, do not open your classroom door under any circumstance, no matter who says they are out there. We will notify the classrooms when it is safe to come out. So basically they're saying, yeah, the intruder is trying to unlock classroom doors. Great. And now, the anxiety of waiting to find out what
Somebody's calling my sister.
I couldn't take it anymore, so I was getting frustrated at everything. Like, I saw one person start doing homework for this class while we were waiting, but his pencil was making a noise every time he wrote, and I didn't want the intruder to somehow hear it, which wasn't realistic, but I was freaking out. So I was like, dude, why are you doing that right now? And he goes, ain't nothing else to do. So I said, dog, algebra is not worth dying for. Put that paper away. I was not a pleasant person to be around. But after all this time of waiting, we got a third and final announcement. This time it says, attention classes, please evacuate to the grass. So the teacher tells us to get up and leave the classroom in a single file line towards the grass area, but all the students are collectively kind of like, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're all just going to try to cram through the door at once. Every man for themselves at this point. And this is why school drills are so dumb. You think if there's actually something like a fire happening, the students are going to wait till everyone in the classroom is accounted for and then walk in a single file line outside? No shot. The moment I hear that fire alarm sound go off, I'm running out of that classroom faster than a girl does when I try flirting with her. So we get outside, and the whole school is just standing in the grass area confused on what's happening. Because as we were leaving the classrooms, the police were going into them. So everyone is gossiping to each other, trying to figure out what happened. But we're not getting any answers because every time we try to ask a teacher, they say they have no idea what's going on either. But after a couple minutes of being outside, we see about 5 cops walking a guy to a police car with handcuffs on. This had to be the intruder, right? Well, that's what we all thought because we watched the cops walk this man into the back of a police vehicle with handcuffs. Everyone thought they caught the guy and that it was all over until we heard another bang. It sounded just like the one we heard earlier. And remember, before this day, I've never heard a sound like that at school. So people are freaking out again because we're all outside now and we have no idea what's going on. So can someone please tell me why schools think it's a good idea to put students outside, exposed in an open field, while there's an armed suspect on campus? We're basically target practice sitting out there like that. So that made it even more scary because we had no cover now. I knew one kid
I'm not done yet.
right next to school, so he was like, man, forget this. And he just went home. His house literally bordered the school, so he just hopped the wall into his backyard. It felt like he was the only person thinking logically at that point. But more time passes, and eventually we get told that it's safe to go back to our classrooms. So we do. But at this point, it was lunchtime, so everyone was talking about it during lunch, trying to figure out if anyone knew any information. But then one of our teachers walked by during lunch, so we asked him if he knew what happened, and he said yes. And when I tell you the truth of this whole situation was ridiculous, I mean it. Because apparently, the intruder we were all freaking out over was just two kids from another school who were trying to play a prank. And let me explain what the prank was. So the week they did this was what our school called Rivals Week. And this was the week where we played our school rivals in football. So the intruders who were from this rival school were trying to do a prank of lighting fireworks off on our campus. But they weren't just any fireworks, they were mortars. So they were super loud, and when they exploded, it sounded like a gunshot. That was the loud bang we kept hearing throughout the day, and there was two of them doing it, which explained why we heard another bang go off after the first guy got arrested. So when the teacher explained all of this to us, that left me with two questions. Number one, how are these kids that dumb to do that as a prank? And number two, why would the school make an announcement scaring everyone saying that there's an armed intruder on campus? What is just kids shooting fireworks? What are they gonna do? Turn into Harry Potter and shoot fireworks at people? Calling someone coming onto campus with a firework an armed intruder is about as big of a stretch as when a random girl holds the door open for me, so I tell my friends I think she wants me. Why do they have to say it like that? And usually during Rivals Week, the schools prank each other. But after this happened, our school was like, hey, y'all got it this year, man, all right? You win. We ain't pranking you back. But there was still one question left unanswered after all of this. Who was the person who tried unlocking the classroom door during the lockdown? Because the pranksters never went inside. They were just lighting fireworks outside the whole time. But I was able to figure out who it was the next day when I'm back in that same class, and me and a couple other classmates are talking about this situation. But then one kid goes, it's so crazy that I was stuck outside the classroom during this whole thing. When
What?
This, I went, wait. What did you just say? Oh, well, I went to the bathroom before our class went into lockdown, and when I tried coming back, the door was locked and no one would let me in. Then he said he tried unlocking a couple more classroom doors, but those were all locked too. So he just went back into the bathroom and sat inside a stall this whole time without knowing what was going on, waiting for the situation to be over. So if you learned one thing from this whole story, it's that you should never go number two in a school bathroom. Some moments are better with people.
Diagnosis, anxiety. Begin deep breathing.
Therapy is one of them.
No, I'm not doing watching that one. I'm watching
Picture this scenario.
stuff right now.
You're sitting in class, and out of nowhere, an announcement goes off over the... When you go to a sleepover, there is only one rule that you must follow no matter what. Never fall asleep first. If you don't follow this rule, there's no guarantee what will happen to you. Because I almost died at a sleepover one time after falling asleep first. And I already know what you're thinking. Tyler, you're clearly lying. Because for that to have actually happened, it would mean you got invited somewhere. And we all know that wouldn't happen. Although it may be hard to believe, yes, I did have friends when I was younger. I mean, I don't now, but I used to. So anyways, how did I almost die at a sleepover? Well, when I was younger, I had a friend whose parents owned a cabin in the woods. Yeah, you could probably see where this is going already. But me and everyone else in our friend group would constantly beg him to have a sleepover at it. This was like our friend group's dream. Every day at school, we were begging him to let us use that house to sleep over at. But he would always say no because he was that type of person that never wanted anyone to go inside his house. Like up to that point, no one in our friend group had ever been inside his normal house yet, and he made sure to keep it that way. Like one time, he rolled his ankle really badly to the point where he couldn't walk, so I took him home. And when we got there, I was like, here, let me help you get inside your house. But he was so scared of any of his friends going inside that he literally just hopped from my car to the front door. What? So if he would go this far just to make sure none of us went inside his house, there was no chance he was ever going to let us sleep over at his cabin in the woods, right? Well, that's what we all used to think too, until one random day, we're bugging him like usual, begging him to sleep over. But
Huh?
for some reason, on this day when we
Sorry,
asked him,
guys, I have to
he said,
be
yeah.
AFK for a while.
He said that, our whole friend group collectively just thought he was
Well, come in.
but he wasn't. So after a little bit, we were like, you serious? And he says, yeah, I'll ask my parents when it's a good weekend to go, and then we can make it happen. So we're all celebrating because we thought this was going to be the best night of our lives. But there was something off about it, because when he was saying we could stay at the cabin, he was really giggly for some reason. And he was normally a pretty stoic dude, so for him to be acting like this was a little bit weird. But at the time, I didn't think anything of it because I was just super excited that we were going to get to use his house. But knowing what I know now, I I should have seen from the start that he didn't randomly just switch up and let us use his house for no reason. No. He was planning to do something big at the sleepover. So a couple weeks pass, and eventually his parents tell us that we can use the cabin that upcoming weekend, and everyone drops the plans they had. Oh, you have a wedding to go to? Drop it. You were going on a first date with a girl this weekend? Not anymore. Like, we were all going to make it to this sleepover no matter what. I would have missed the birth of my firstborn child to go to this. Matter of fact, I would have missed my own birth to go to this.